In this chapter, we will discuss this chapter on judgment. I want you to think of judgment. We normally think about someone being wrong and justice is happening. This is punish them, especially now to the full extent of the law. Especially considering what happened to those poor souls in Minnesota that were politically killed and attacked over political differences of ideas. It's unfortunate. So, but this might give you some comfort. As a church, a lot of times you're focused on God's judgment. You need to be good or else X, Y, Z. God's going to get you, you know. It's worse than Santa Claus. At least if you're good, Santa Claus is going to buy you, give you stuff that you want. But it's like, you be good, you're going to die. You're going to burn in hell. That's what you're introduced to. Well, I'd like you to think about judgment differently. Think of it about like the song. Certain churches, they sing it's done, offering time. Give, and it will come back to you. Good measure, press down, shake it together, and run it over. But that goes both ways. Give and it get back to you. Good measure, press down, shake it together, and run it over. Now, consider judgment from that standpoint. That I give this judgment and it will come back to me. Good measure, press down, shake it together, and run it over. The judgment I give, it will come back to me. That's what I give unto the Lord when I judge those that are made of his image. Yeah, if it works for offerings, it works for, again, easy peasy. And so, George Bush has one of my favorite quotes. We're quick to ask for grace from others that we wouldn't give if the roles were reversed. I love that. And that's the reality of judgment. And that's actually the reality of what the Bible is saying as well. God makes it clear, especially throughout the Old Testament, that he doesn't desire for the death of the wicked, but the wicked to turn to righteous. He even goes so far as to say the righteous turns to the ways of the wicked, that he will forget the ways of his righteousness. And so, we're not, we're talking almost like a mindset, this is how I am, how I think, how I see the world. If I judge others like that, that's how I will be received. And so the issue that you'll find in the church is that a lot of people have been saved from whatever, have turned from wickedness to do righteous, and then falling in the trap like Pharisees, Sadducees, and start in their righteousness doing wicked things, especially in their judgment of people. In our current climate, churches are not very gracious at all. And so, if you live in places like where I live, Democrat and Republic takes a little different energy in the Christian context, because the Christian is making a moral argument, and so about the state of the country, and they feel that the Republican platform best lines up with the ideas of Christ, and that those who support the Democratic Party are supporting the Antichrist. And so either way, my conscience is always in this judgment practice that Scripture tells us that what we're giving, we're getting back by the same standard. And so, whether Democratic or Republican is neither nor here nor there, but let's think about this energy that I have for your judgment. I look forward to it, and I hope the Lord delivers it to you and on you for being wrong. You understand? That idea is what we're carrying with us in judging others. The Lord is saying, Yahweh Elohim is saying, okay, if you feel like that, then you think that's such a good idea, I'll agree with you. I agree with you so much that I will press down, shake it together, and run it over you first. That's the problem with judgment. I need you to consider judgment from the heavenly standpoint. From God's perspective, as we discussed in the free will thing, all of y'all are wicked. And that's just the facts. There's no room for you to point that out in your brother or your sister. You understand? Us parents, we understand. We all got that self-righteous kid. Kid that ain't never did nothing wrong. It's always somebody else's fault. They can always tell you about what everyone else is doing. And they love to tell you what you need to be doing about it. How you're unjust for not needing out judgment according to their standard. We understand this. And if you're like me, you say the same thing. You know what I'm saying? God is saying no different. That kid comes at you like that, you say, fine. Let's check your work first. And since you feel like you can't get no Nintendo Switch time, or somebody needs to get a spanking or something, okay, we'll agree with you. So if all your stuff is anything wrong, then you're gonna get that same punishment. And then they always look at you with the boo-boo face like, let me double check. Right. Right. Oh, you need to go double check. I guess you're so busy looking at what everybody else is doing. You ain't got no business of your own to be taken care of. Are you worried about everybody else's? And that's how you are as a parent. God is talking the same type of way. Like, all right, well, with measure, we're going to press it down. Why? Because of the image of Imago Dei. You're made in the image of God. As James would say, hey, how can anyone claim to love God whom they haven't seen, but then hate their neighbor who's made in his image? I'll make another argument about that later on. But from their perspective, disrespecting the image of God or asking judgment against the image of God is equally wicked. No different than in America. If you burn a flag, it means something. Or if you go to a Blackhawks game, they say in the locker room you can't stand on the mascot or you can't plant the flag on somebody on the 50-yard line. It means something. Or like when they burned the bronze jerseys, it means something when you attack the image, okay? God is saying likewise, as we attack each other, judge each other, it's the same type of energy he sees because that represents him. Remember, it was his good idea that the person that you're angry at, that they exist, and they exist in the image of God. And so likewise, he's expecting mercy and grace of somebody who themselves, likewise, asked to receive and wanted. Okay? And so, that's the heart of judgment. Okay? Again, God is saying, I created you like me and I love you. Okay? And any parent will understand this. Some of us know that we have children that are less capable than their siblings. Or, you got friends, you or your friends have kids that have what we consider special needs or any kind of challenges, any way that they're different than their siblings. You're real sensitive when that kid with a deficiency or difference is attacked or ridiculed, especially by his own brothers and sisters. This is the perspective that Yahweh Elohim is taking in regards to judgment. The same type of energy. And so it's imperative that the way we treat people, we the opposite. You want that? Press down, shake it together, and run it over. Patience, love, kindness. You want these things. Good words, good actions, good thoughts about people. You want those, press down, shake it together, and run it over. Okay? And so, now, are we going to judge? Yes, and we should. Actually, the problem is we judge the wrong things in the wrong ways. The judge is supposed to be done by us. We should be judging others. But what we're judging is not the individual, but the actions, or in biblical terms, the fruit. The evidence that reveals the heart and mind of somebody. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm not judging the person. It's like, hey, your actions here suggest something about this and here. Okay? Your actions show that you have a problem here. Now, our response shouldn't be push this person away. It's really to embrace them, because whatever this is going on in here, it's their own self-destruction. How can I say I love you and then watch you destroy yourself? And just sit there like a witness and be like, girl, I would have said something, but ain't my business. Yeah. You find out, some of you guys have found out from friends that you were being done dirty by somebody close to you. They're like, man, I couldn't tell you, man. I didn't want to get in the middle of it. Again, those are wrong judgments. We're supposed to be judging actions. Appropriate reaction should have been like, hey, based on the way this person is acting, I don't think that they are your friend, or they're not with you. For example, I used to teach singles. I would tell the ladies will tell me about these guys and what makes them so great. And my question would be to them, hey man, tell me about the dude. How do you know that they love you? What's the evidence? It should be tangible. It should, they do this, and this. Calling you, come on man, that don't count. We trying to get in them draws. Of course we calling. Taking you out to eat. Depending on how it's money, yeah, man, maybe pay a bill or two. That's simple stuff. That's nothing. And so, when I say love, it's like, how did he demonstrate? Where was the sacrifice? Has he been patient with you? Does he know you? Do you know them? Show me some evidence, some proof. What did he sacrifice for you? When did he put himself last in the situation? And so you judge those things. You know what I'm saying? How are they with their coworkers? Listen to what they're saying. I don't have to know if a person is positive. I'm just listening to how their worldview as they speak. I hear what's in here. As I see what they do in certain circumstance and situation, that tells me what's in here. Now, with that information, and it's like, hey, I don't know that I want to spend my life with this person. Maybe based on what I see and hear them say, I can't tell that they love anybody. I can't tell that they look out for anyone. I see how they talk to their kids and the people that should care about the most and how they treat them. And so if they're unfaithful with their own children, they're abusive with their own kids, or with their parents or their co-workers, it's negative all the time, you're not judging the person. Those are their words, they are their actions, and it indicates their heart, which is a heart of negativity. Now, you have to ask yourself, what kind of relationship are we going to be able to have? Now, I'm not going to necessarily be able to have some loving relationship where we're going to be in this marriage type situation. Nah, we might have to just stay co-workers, associates. I'm going to encourage you in the best way I can, be loving, but there's a boundary that has to be had here because your words, your actions are bad. Just what it is. It's what's in your heart. Now, those things can change. But those changes don't happen by themselves. They don't happen overnight. And no matter how good I might think I am as a provider or lover or whatever, I cannot fix that in you. And we should never look for somebody to do that for us. It's inappropriate. It's not loving. Again, our judgment is on the actions. And so, if a person says they like you and want to hang out with you and kick it with you, but every time you call the folks, there's an excuse. They'll pick up the phone. They don't want to spend any time with you. Then you have to ask yourself, well, you obviously don't want to spend time with me because you would be here. People do what they want. And they don't do the things they don't want. It's just that simple. We have to believe it when we see it. And that's the problem that we have. We don't judge the right things. And sometimes we're complicit in the harm that's done to our friends and family when we see these things and we know the outcome is going to be negative. There's no other way to be negative, and we do nothing to intervene. You're like, oh man, I'll be here for you. No, if you had been here for me, you would have loved me enough to try to keep me from danger, not watch me fall in the pit, and then be like, I ain't want to say nothing. It wasn't none of my business. So, let's think about our questions. And so, we need to think about, number one, ask yourself, do you believe that you're judgmental? Consider, have you ever actually forgiven anyone or offered them grace? And so, and in what ways, think about how you can be gracious towards others in the future. Okay. Live well.